Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Mama Bees, thank you so much for joining me in the live. Thank you so much. Come in and click the like button. And if you are new here, thank you so much for joining me during the live and select the like button and please click the subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And my moderator, Mama Bees, has already been in here. I appreciate that so much. I have Stacy right here behind me. Stacy's gonna need all the help she can get, everybody. They're coming at her hot and heavy. So, of course, this is the review for Real Housewives of Potomac. And this is season 10, episode 9, Leak What You Speak. Leak what you speak. Of course, we are still in Gizelle's event. I'm going to come up. I just started out with Stacy just to give her a little bit of encouragement. That's her new brand, Shayo, the Nigerian name. But I wanted to give her a little bit of encouragement. Stacy's going to need all the help she can get, everybody. I am Sandra P's Gen Extra. Thank you so much for joining me for this live review of Real Housewives of Potomac. And I appreciate it so much. Team Replay, as always, thank you. I appreciate it. This was a pretty good episode. This was the aftermath of the reasonably shady event that Gizelle had. Robin did not attend. So Rob, the Thrive Dixon, that is not a way to get back on the show. Even Gizelle said she didn't think it was a good look. So she left Gizelle on her own to celebrate that duo getting to 10 million streams on their Reasonably Shady podcast. So we start out where we left off. Kierna and Stacy, y'all. Stacy is just chewing Kierna up. Kierna is loud, virtually barking. She's like a little chihuahua. She's all in Stacy's face. I wouldn't trust you around my husband. Now Gizelle is at the side saying, oh, she's not to be trusted around husbands, around children. Gizelle, I'm going to talk about this statement that Gizelle makes a couple of times because it's kind of sinister. I don't like that. I don't know what she means by Stacy's not to be trusted around husbands and children, because out of Gizelle and Stacy, only one of them has lied on a baby, Gizelle. Only one of them have lied on multiple husbands, Gizelle. So I don't like her saying that, but Kierna has taken that and run with it. I wouldn't trust you around my husband. And Stacy says, you don't have one. And that is where that ended last week. And we begin this morning. Welcome in, Sharon Godbolt. This is the live review of Real Housewives of Potomac. We are still at this event, this reasonably shady event, which is, it's actually more than reasonably, it's kind of unreasonably unreasonably shady, I'll say. Because Kierna, we were rooting for you, girl. This is only her second season. This is her sophomore season. I have to be candid. I think they gave her that champagne flute so she wouldn't sue Bravo after Ashley had Sesame Street and them come down there to beat up poor little Candace, and Kierna ended up getting hurt. That's another reason why this scene was actually hard to watch as well. We saw Cookie ushered out after she tried to bully Stacy and tell her, don't point your finger at me, when Stacy was just motioning like boom. And then Stacy decided she wanted to do that some more. And Cookie was ushered out by security. Gizelle was getting her whole life. Gizelle was standing there at the table, really excited about that. I started Gizelle, as I did everyone, with a clean slate, but I'm kind of upset with Gizelle's movement. I don't like what she's doing, y'all. This is supposed to be a celebratory event, and she is encouraging so much nasty behavior. The bullying is way too much. I don't care for the bullying. And Candace, she tried too hard for a moment. I mean, her face is twisted in anger. And Stacy just playing with her, and this girl's going crazy. So we had Cookie before she was ushered out telling Stacy to go take a bath. Now they're still saying Stacy supposedly stinks. We don't know about all that, but that's what they're saying. And they're going back and forth. Charisse is there, everybody. Charisse has made it to this event. Now, Robin, this is what you do. When you're trying to get back somewhere and you enjoy being there, when they invite you to something, you show up. And Charisse is at a lot of parties in the area. She's not the grand dame, but she might be behind the scenes grand dame. So she's here. And Stacy says, well, just telling me I'm lying. Call the person who said this. Ask who told him. Call Chris. Everyone's, oh, Charisse has Chris's number. Call Chris. Charisse gets Chris on the phone. She said, it's ringing. I don't know if he'll answer. Y'all, I don't know if Sharice wanted Chris to answer. Because Chris, she knew that he would be upset, and he was. She said, I don't know if he will answer. Hello? We get Chris Samuels. Here's a Chris Samuels sighting, the first one of the season, other than flashbacks. She says, it's Sharice, I'm filming. Chris is like, she said, I know that you and Cookie are good friends. Cookie has been made to look bad. Cookie made herself look bad. So then we get Sharice trying to twist an answer out of Chris. Cookie has been made to look bad. Cookie has not been made to look bad. She made herself look bad. That's why she got escorted out. Also, y'all, people are bringing up some charges that Cookie supposedly had. Now, I don't do all that digging, so I don't know. I'm just hearing about it. If this is true, it's allegedly, it's in my opinion, it's what I've heard. If it's true, I'm not shocked, because she was acting straight off the cell block. So Sharice is trying to shape this conversation with Chris. And she says, your good friend was made to look bad. Did Stacy call you about a conversation involving Monique? Chris started cussing like Juan Dixon used to. Y'all remember when Robin used to call Juan Dixon for comfort or whatever? And he said, I'm going to curse one of them women out, Robin. He could not stand when Robin called him. He over there with his girlfriend, and here you go calling Robin. So Chris said, I don't know what the F you people talking about. And Sharice said, she didn't call you? Chris said no. He says no. So she hangs up, and Stacy's like, I didn't call. I told you I didn't call. So Gizelle doesn't believe it. Ashley, of course, doesn't believe it. Kierna doesn't believe it. Kierna is more and more likable every week. Yes, she is. And the way she's running with this storyline, she claims she got all this stuff going on. That's coming up next. But she's running with this storyline. Cookie made her own self look bad. I felt a little sorry for her. I take a little bit of fun poking at her a little bit, because the way she appears is kind of desperate. She does want to flute. She wants to be on the show. She even wants a friend of. Kiwan J was in here last week telling us Cookie is known around the DMV. She's known among love and marriage DC people. So she's really trying to be out there in the streets. She done lied on Chuck Brown, made him her daddy, instead of, I heard he was her godfather. Cookie, that's prestigious to have him as a godfather. Why are you going to say the man your daddy? And he's not. So Cookie's a little bit desperate. Monique doesn't fool with her. We'll find more out about that. We get Sharice telling a entire story about her and Stacy out on the town. A table full of married men were interested in them. Now, her and Stacy, but she's going to put it on Stacy. So the table approached them. Sharice tells Stacy, since she knows everybody, oh, this one's interested in you. He's married. And Sharice says, this trick said that's his problem, or that's not my problem. Now, Sharice, when you start calling people tricks, you've been hanging around Gizelle and Ashley too much. Excuse me. I got a frog in my throat. Excuse me. So, Sharice, you used to bring back stories on Karen, too. And she started, excuse me, the old Blue Eyes rumor. And Karen ditched her chauffeur over that, which I wouldn't have. And Karen, you should still have a chauffeur. Hey, K1JTV. Hey, Miss Sandra in chat. I just brought you up. I'm talking about Cookie just being escorted out. Then we had Sharice on the phone with Chris talking about Cookie was made to look bad. And we've come to the agreement. Sharon has said Cookie made her own self look bad. And she did. So Chris said he didn't say it. Now they still want to say, oh, she said it, child. I know, Kiwan. So Gizelle, of course, doesn't believe it. Ashley doesn't believe it. None of them believe it except for, of course, Stacy, Wendy. Jazzy, I am liking. Jazzy's so cute. She don't have a dog in the fight. And she's more willing to be objective instead of being a Gizelle fan. Angel, I hope I have a picture of Angel. Because Angel needs all the help she can get, y'all. Angel, I'm going to have to I have something called a first season immunity cloak. I would like to place that on Angel. Because Angel's going to have a tough episode, y'all, again. And it's by her own doing. I don't understand it. I don't know why she's doing this, but she is. sorry. I think I deleted that picture. I don't know why. Okay, now with Angel, after Gizelle says, well, I'm going to go get me a shot. This is her celebration, remember, but she's here for foolishness. Gizelle's going to get her shot. Stacey talking about me too. Stacey has no self-awareness, or she's just playing with them. She goes to the bar too. So everybody moves it over there. Gizelle didn't get a fight because Cookie got ushered out. Things kind of died down. Sharice made the call. They didn't get the answer they wanted from Chris. He cussed them out in the spirit of Juan Dixon. And so now they moved conversation to the bar. Wale is teasing Ashley with his fine self. He said, oh, I like your eyeshadow. Wale, can you pick anything more innocuous? He likes her eyeshadow. Ashley looked cute, but she just a grinning, y'all. She just a grinning. Because Wale is fine. He's charming. Wale, don't hook up with Ashley. If you can use her to get on the show on and off if you want to, because clearly he likes attention. But I don't want Wale with Ashley. I like Wale, and I don't care for Ashley. I'm a Bees of San Grand Rising to Kiwan J. Kiwan J is also a content creator. So Angel's still wearing my first season cloak of immunity. Gizelle calls her over. Wendy, Angel says she got a problem with you. Wendy, Angel was saying she wanted to see you about you calling her catfish and all this kind of stuff. And Wendy's saying, oh, it's all this. Wendy kind of joking, oh, she got a problem. So Wendy's kind of like, bring her out. So Gizelle calls Angel over there. Y'all, the backstory is Gizelle's fanning herself. It's hot in there. Angel gave this lady that fan as a gift for hosting the trip. Isn't that diabolical? This lady gives you a fan. You're paying her dust other than when you're making fun of her. Last week, she went up to her with stars in her eyes and said, Gizelle, how can we be better friends? And Gizelle is still clowning her. Y'all, this is terrible. I hate to see it, but Angel, you're bringing this on yourself, and some of us are trying to protect you. So Gizelle points Wendy at Angel, and her and Wendy get into it. Angel had everything written down. I know she did. She practiced it with Bobby. The camera pans to Bobby. He's looking on like a proud husband, like, get her, Angel, in his mind. So Angel says, I feel like you have been condescending and you have not been nice to me. And Wendy's just pointing out, when wasn't I nice to you? Well, when I saw you in the airport, Wendy was like, well, did you see me? Did you speak? Well, and then she starts kind of losing herself. It's kind of like what you're doing now. Wendy says, I'm being direct. And she was. So Angel's mumbling, stumbling. She can't really get it out. Y'all, I to this day don't. Oh, and she said, well, you said that I'm the catfish. Gizelle said, I said that. And she said, no, Wendy was actually the one. Gizelle said, I said it. And then Kierna says, Wendy is the one that said it. And everybody agrees Gizelle said it. Gizelle has admitted to it. They still want to put it on her. Angel doesn't get too much more out, but this is not going the way. I don't know what she said, but I'm finished with the conversation. And runs out of the argument that she started. Wrong road, Angel. Wrong road. And Kierna couldn't even help her. So, Kierna came over there, but Angel didn't run away yet. Kierna came over there, and Stacey's like, okay, now what are you going to come over here and say? She said, look at her. She called her something. She called them twins, Siamese twins. She said, jump on her back, like piggyback, jump on the piggyback. So, y'all, this was just a mess. And Stacey says, now, what are you going to say? Kierna's saying, well, I can talk about whatever. There's a lot of things that I can talk about. My man, my business, but she's saying these little things that should be great points. But y'all, her face was twisted in anger. Kierna is so mad. And Stacey's still kind of over it a little bit, but playing. Y'all, this was a mess. Sharon, she is. You know how much I hate to admit that. You know I hate to admit it. I got to. If she didn't have my first season cloak of immunity, she'd already be poof. But she is self-destructing. Kiwan J says, I was aggravated with these ladies. Oh, thank you so much. Kiwan J was awaiting my review. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll watch yours after this because honestly, I do not watch any of the reviews before I do mine because I don't want to be influenced. So I'll watch the show once or twice and then I'll give my review. So this scene is just crazy. Poor Angel, everything she practiced in the mirror didn't work. Now, Bobby told her to drop it. Didn't we tell her to listen to Bobby when he said, is it really that much? He told her that last week. She's like, no, I'm going back out there. And she got chased off by Wendy. So I will give her the cloak of immunity, baby brain, and she's still breastfeeding. I don't know if all that factors in, but we'll give it to her anyway. Kay comes over for the assist. She's no help because Kay is too angry. I think Kay might like to fight, y'all. Nobody's here fighting. This is verbal sparring. So that doesn't work. So Stacy is saying that's her twin, piggyback, jump on her piggyback. My man, my life, my business. And Stacy says, everything but a ring, my ring. Now, Stacy, we generally don't like this, but I will allow it because Kiana does place value on being married. And this dig really gets to her. Greg, you make me sick. Greg actually walked in and we see Tia was like, hey, Greg. He said, I was getting jealous. Nobody spoke to me. She said, well, we spoke to you, but we went back to fighting. So Greg is there. Happy Eddie, they keep panning on him. He's looking. He know Wendy's not going to do too much. Wendy likes to verbally go back and forth, but Wendy's not going to fight or anything like that. So Stacy's trying to make Kay jealous of her ring. Kay says, I wouldn't want that one because it's cloudier than a mofo, which was kind of funny because I don't know about diamonds and all that, but I don't think cloudy is a good thing. So this was a trip. And Jazzy said, well, I haven't seen you since the wedding because Stacy says, okay, I'm going to leave. Stacy heads toward the elevator. I haven't seen you since the wedding. Here comes Gizelle after her. Stacy had already pressed the elevator. She told Jazzy, she said, well, you can, Jassy or Jazzy, you can see that I'm not welcome. I'm leaving. Here comes Gizelle. She need more moments. I'm going to press it. She said, well, if you're going to leave, go ahead. Bye. Now, I don't like people to linger either after they're leaving. But she said, I've already pressed the elevator. Gizelle said, I'm going to press it again. Gizelle, only little kids do that. If you keep pressing it, doesn't make it come any faster. So that was kind of ignorant of Gizelle. So Jazzy asked, Gizelle, do you have a problem with Stacy? She says, well, I've heard stuff that gives me pause because she does a lot of lying. The ultimate liar telling somebody that she does a lot of lying. Y'all, this is crazy. And I think Gizelle is actually the source of a lot of these rumors. This is too much. Kieran and Angel went out and said, they did, and I don't understand it, Kiwan J. I don't understand the new people buzzing around Gizelle and doing all of this when they honestly could take over the show because most of the people, even the ones that like Gizelle, are tired of Gizelle and Ashley. I'm tired of them both. So next, Angel is filling in Bobby. He was like, water off a duck back, mama. Bobby, I don't think it is. I think it's more serious than that because we've seen Angel stew. She can't let things go, so I don't think it's water off her back. We have Stacy and Arabella having a pizza night with Tiamu. Stacy, this girl knows that y'all are back together, okay? They stealing kisses and everything. And a little girl, Arabella seems so happy. Arabella was kind of even, kind of like an even mood child. She's not bubbly or anything like that, but she seems happier in this scene, so that was cute. And Tiamu, you got to come on some scenes. You throwing your wife to the wolf. Even old Greg showed up late, but he showed up. So we got Sheila. We have a scene at Ashley's house. Ashley has a nice house. She got a little bit of money from Michael, so she has a nice house. I love when Stacy said that to her. Yeah, because she deserves it. But Kiana's jumping on Stacy for no reason. I don't like it. Gizelle will always be messy. She will, and they won't hold her to account. Because Karen used to hold her to account, and now nobody is, and it's just watching her beat up on everybody. So we got Ashley is concerned with her mother. Y'all, Sheila enters the house barefoot. I wish I was lying. Sheila, are you going to beat these bridge allegations? They said she was under the bridge trying to support that man. So she's literally worked herself into high blood pressure. That comes up. Ashley's concerned. You're not even triple 20. So this lady's not even 60 years old yet. We get a confessional with Ashley. Says, my mom has been with her husband for 23 years. So this is Ashley's younger sister that we see come on the show sometimes. Seem like a nice young lady. And Ashley had a conversation with Uncle Lump. I like when we see Uncle Lump. Uncle Lump is in a production, puts in a flashback scene, and he said, you got to let people live their life. She seemed happy as a pig in slop. So Sheila, your brother, is saying, you happy as a pig in slop. And we get a flashback of old Michael Darby. Even Michael Darby was warning Ashley, she needs to get it together because evidently Michael Darby's money was help supporting Sheila and her husband. How you have a husband and you living on the outside? That's crazy. Kiwan JTV says, I can't see past Ashley to have sympathy for her storyline. Yeah, Kiwan J, that is actually the downside of people, somebody as nasty as her and writing other people's storylines. Sharon Garbo says Ashley's mom is definitely going through something. Yes. Welcome in, CC. This is one of my moderators. She came in speaking to everybody. Thank you so much. Good morning. We're doing Real Housewives of Potomac live. So welcome in and thank you. Again, Sheila is trying to humanize Ashley. You got Ashley doing this confessional and kind of being upset about her mom. And I feel like he's taking her from me because the mom disclosed that she has high blood pressure, other things going on. And then y'all, she told us, after I ate last night, I got really sick. And then she said she started to regurgitate and it had blood in it. Now, Sheila, what is wrong with you? At any age, you know that that is something that's very serious. So this is crazy. So we get a flashback to Ashley saying she's my only parent. And the flashback is Ashley allowed this show to go with her to her biological father's house. That man told them people, get off his porch, leave him alone. He don't want nothing to do with Ashley. He told that black woman, don't have that baby. The man slammed the door in her face. Y'all, she told us at BravoCon that her real father, her biological father, has passed away. And the stepdad is a bum. But because Ashley is so terrible, we had it from Keywan J saying, can't see past Ashley to have sympathy for her storyline. And the thing is, I think Ashley would be appealing to some people. So I don't know why she's such an annoying pain in the butt. Angela A., this is one of my sisters, one of my friends. Thank you so much for coming in. She is a moderator. And she came in, spoke to myself, the other mods in the chat. Y'all, this is a mess. So we get the scene with Ashley. Ashley is acting, I think, though. She says, and you got to take care of yourself because you are my heart outside my body. Ashley, I believe you love your mother, but because Sheila's kind of laughing, y'all. Her demeanor, I'll be okay. She's just a silly woman. I don't know if everything is clicking with Sheila. It's you, you're my heart, you and my children, and then you and my children. Like, Ashley, stop. So she no longer has a father who they never reconciled their relationship because he told Sheila, I guess it was just a quickie or something. I don't know. So next we go to Jossie's house. Jossie, congratulations. You're getting more scenes. Darius is cooking up a spread, y'all. Jossie says she's glad to see her girl because Stacy's coming over. Wendy is there. We get a confessional with Jossie. Now, Jossie, we know you just got married, but why are you in a wedding dress in this confessional? I think she did that last week too, and I forgot to mention it. So she's having Stacy and Wendy over. Stacy comes in. Now, we know Stacy, she'll lie, she'll joke, she's unserious, she act like she don't know what's going on. But y'all, she look a little blue to me. She looks like this is kind of bothering her. So she said, let's discuss what happened after Gizelle's event. Wendy said, after the event, let's discuss what happened during the event while we were there. We go over to Angel's house. Y'all, guess who's at Angel's house? Gizelle. Tia is there. Ashley is there. The other half of the group. So we get off of a Nevis episode, which I love. And then now we are dividing the cast straight down the middle. And I don't like it, y'all. Mainly, most of the cast bullying Stacy, and then Wendy trying to take her side, and Kia and Jossie trying to take her side. Everybody else over at Angel's house. Angel, you are down bad, girl. You should not allow this in your house. So Angel's watching over Bobby and the kids with binoculars. You got to do that, Angel. Bobby, don't let us find out nothing because you think Gizelle is your big sister and your friend. She'll be the main one making up stuff on him. So she's like, I can't see them from there. There's somewhere because somebody asked where he was. He's out there on the path and he's with the kids. Tia comes in. Tia, you on the wrong side of history too. And Angel says, well, we've found a house in Potomac. It's 9 bedrooms. Somebody says, you currently renting, right? That's going to come up later. Gizelle going to try to throw her business up there. So Gizelle is saying, oh, it's so good when we get together to roast Stacy. We're kind of trauma bonding by what Stacy puts us through. Has anybody figured out what Stacy's doing to these ladies? I haven't. Something about paying TJ, whether or not that's true. And we didn't see any receipts of where he got paid. Kiana threw that up in argument too. Did you pay TJ? And none of that had anything to do with what they were arguing about. So Gizelle says a statement that really annoyed me when she first said it at her party. And Gizelle is a reality TV vet. She's been in this game a decade. So she knows what she's doing talking like this on TV. She says, Stacy's the kind of woman you cannot trust around husbands and children. Why, Gizelle? Gizelle's the only one here that has lied on a baby. Remember, she lied about the paternity of Monique and Chris's baby. The baby looks just like Chris, A. We don't know if anything was going on with Monique and her trainer. B, and a child born within a marriage is a child of the marriage, no matter what the mama's out there doing. That's where they got they saying. Mama's baby, daddy, maybe. That's where they got it. This is the baby, the Samuel's baby, the little boy. So Gizelle, you can't be trusted. And she's lied on Chris, the other Chris Baskin. So I can't with Gizelle. Usually I'm for her good nature, kind of ribbing people. What she's doing now is a little more sinister, and I don't like it. And the other ladies lining up with her, any of them can be a victim as well, and will be. So Tia lies. Stacy's made a tangled web. Tia, you are sounding real crazy. I know Gizelle brought you on, but you don't owe this lady anything. Angel says, Stacy has things to answer for, Angel. You still got my cloak of immunity for the first season on, but you wrong too. Kierna's running her mouth. Y'all, this was a mess. This was like I don't even know what kind of meeting to call it. They just all dragging Stacy. And Angel, you have people that are a real threat to you. Later on, we get a preview. Gizelle is going to be telling people this girl got evicted from her house. Now they're renting. They are buying. So the lease might just be up. But look at Gizelle. She's going to say the girl's getting evicted. So I don't know why people are all on Stacy, but they are. We're back over at Jazzy's house. Stacy says, Kay is always bucking up on me. That was another thing Stacy said I forgot about. She said, you get activated when it comes to me. You're usually at a 0. Now you're at about a 2. Good to see you, boo. And Wendy chuckled behind her hand. Wendy and Jazzy were getting their whole life because Stacy was eating Kierna up. And Kierna was just getting angrier and angrier. So now she's got a real vendetta. But I would tell you, Kiwan J said it last week. She felt like Kierna might have called Chris, or at least told Cookie, and then Cookie told Chris. I'm thinking that too. Stacy, production's funny. They will zoom in on Stacy when it's being talked about. And Stacy has a nervous way of being and a guilty look. But I think that though she's a liar, she's not lying about this. So Wendy says that it just seems like right now you're her favorite toy in the toolbox. So Wendy knows what Kierna's doing. It's like Stacy can be picked at, and that's what Kierna has decided to do. Even though the only one she should really have beef with is Ashley. Ashley is the one that brought Sesame Street and Oscar the Grouch and them to beat up Candace, and Kierna has a permanent scar over it. So that is the only one that she should really have beef with. But her and Angel are so dumb, they don't really see the play like we can see it. So we got Gizelle over here at the other scene. Gizelle jumps up. She's wearing a little denim dress. She's jumping up to mock what Kay was doing. I didn't know what you were doing when you were just ba, 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 ba. So Gizelle, we knew Gizelle was getting her whole life watching this fight that she started, because I think she lied as well. And then she said, and then Cookie, she was doing Cookie, like Cookie was some kind of big lawnmower getting ready to mow everybody down. And production put a side by side of how Gizelle made Cookie come in, and production showed Cookie come in. Cookie was just walking. So you see how they treat you, Cookie? This is crazy. So then Gizelle was saying everything went great. Everyone showed up with the right energy, except we had this one Cheeto. Why are you calling Stacey a Cheeto? Only Cheeto I know is in the White House. So Gizelle lies. And it was so good to hear Monique tell that story, because y'all didn't know her when she was married. To be so vulnerable and then to have one person bring the story back. So they're really committed to this lie, because there were a lot of people at that table, and there were people even surrounding them that were watching. But I still think the most likely suspect is Kierna. So we get a scene with Wendy. I'm not sure if it's here or not, but I wrote it down. Wendy was saying that, no, that might be later. Yeah, I'll say what Wendy said. Wendy's suspect, she has the number one suspect, she said, I'm going to put my detective wig on. Kierna is the number one suspect. I think she named Gizelle, because Gizelle knows Cookie, and then Cookie is a suspect. I think they're leaving out, y'all, Charisse. When Charisse calls, Chris picks that phone up. And whether he's mad or not, he talks. They're friends. It could have come from Charisse as well, because Cookie might have heard it from Kierna, and then somehow it did get back to Chris. I don't think it came from Stacy. Oh, this scene actually came later, so I'll bring it up later too. So Gizelle was mocking Cookie with that over-exaggerated walk and demeanor. So they're acting like Cookie's their friend. But Cookie, I hope you see this. Gizelle's no friend to you. Gizelle feels like she's too classy based and Miss First Lady to be around you. So Ashley said, yeah, she got froggy. Cookie was a little loud, but Ashley said the lady got froggy. You know why she got froggy? Because y'all hyped her up. And they probably told her, yeah, Stacey was talking about you and she don't like you. And then we know that Cookie has a crush on Chris Samuels. She doesn't like Monique and she doesn't like Stacey, who Chris seems to have a type. Very thin, very pretty, and just women that he will display. I'm not going to rule out that he hasn't had something with Cookie, but I think that is never going to be something that we'll know about. I think she's kind of a more behind the scenes type woman for him, and he's not going to display her like he will a Monique or Stacey, and that's why Cookie can't stand them. So you see how they doing you, Cookie. So Wendy asked Stacey, Stacey said, I don't know what to do at this point. Wendy says, I feel like you should meet with Monique. And this is a good idea, because if the others try to keep this thing going, but Monique has no energy for it, that's where it dies. So Wendy's really smart, y'all. Wendy's having a good season. She's having a good season. Despite whatever news we hear now, this has been a really good season for her. So Stacey says, I have no desire to meet Kay. I don't feel comfortable with her. And I agree with Stacey. Kay is on some rah-rah stuff. Kay actually wants to fight. I see it in her. And I agree with that. And it's not her business. So next we get a scene with Brian. Brian is Kay's brother. And he fine, y'all. The whole family's beautiful. He comes in, honey, he's in a tank top, got the arms out. She did a confessional, which was cute. We're Irish twins. Those of us with close together family members know what that means. I have sisters that are 13 months apart. She and Brian are 11 months apart, y'all. So Kay is lying. I think it's great. The mom comes in looking beautiful. I have an announcement. Greg wants to buy me this condo. Greg wants me to move back in. Her mother's face, she is not having it. You know you're happy about him buying this condo. The mother's like, no, you moved out because that's not what you wanted. So now Kiana has put marriage on the back burner because that's kind of what Greg wanted to do. He wanted it on the back burner. We have found out, maybe we already knew, I didn't know, Greg has 3 children. So he's looking for someone, to me, to help mother his children. I don't know about the mother or if they're plural mothers, but he would love to have a young woman, Kiana, helping him take care of his kids. In my opinion, her mother's giving her a literal side eye. This lady does not have a poker face. So Kay is kind of upset that the mother is wanting a commitment from Greg for her daughter, because that's what she wants. Y'all, this is crazy. All right, so confessional Kay is deluding herself. She's saying the ring is coming, and we're gonna, if I move in, and then we've been working on our relationship. The brother, Brian, just wants Kiana to be happy. Not that he agrees with it, but he can see where she's coming from. And Kay says, well, you know you like Greg a lot. The mother said, do you want me to like him or you want me to love him? I agree with the mother. If he does right by her daughter, she will love him as her son, as her son-in-law. Karen's saying, no, she knows she like him. She's fronting. So this is crazy. We get a scene with Cam, the beautiful Cameron, who is Wendy's daughter. She's eating Oreos. Something about they have the fancy new ones with blue in them. She don't like those. Wendy's like, did you roll your eyes? I love watching Wendy with her kids. That was so cute. We get this Wendy's sister. She's wearing Wendy's original face, y'all. They still look alike, but Wendy's face is, of course, doing something different after her mommy makeover and her few tweaks. So they are talking about Wendy's dad, their dad. The dad was married to the mother. The sister has not seen this man in 20 years. Now, Wendy, I shared some pictures on Real Housewives of Potomac, Sandra P's Gen Extra. I do the extras. Wendy and Eddie and the children were in Nigeria. They were there over a month, and they traveled the country. They met with a lot of people. One of them was not Wendy's dad. He said he wasn't feeling well, and y'all, that went on a month. So Wendy's disappointed in this. She hadn't seen him. The sister, Ivy, is more like pragmatic about it. She says, well, we have mom. I just relish the fact that we have mom. So Wendy's upset about that. The mother comes in. Miss Susan comes in. She come bopping in. And Wendy says, if he saw that I'm doing so great, then he might want me. Y'all, that was sad when Wendy said that. Wendy, are you trying so hard to be other than what you are to impress your dad? Because, I mean, allegedly, it's allegations, there are charges, okay? But when I just hate to see what Wendy's going through. Wendy, you should have been in therapy long before this. So we get a confessional from Wendy saying she's chasing what a father-daughter relationship could look like, and her sister is more realistic about what it actually is. So Mama Susan, she says, well, he could have 200 children, but he will only have one Wendy. Mama Susan says, you guys are doing great. You're successful. Look at how you're taking care of me. She gets up. She starts strutting, kind of speaking life into her daughters. But Mama Susan, now you doing too much, because production does a flashback and they show us where Wendy has to give Mama Susan allowances and feels kind of pressed sometimes to send the money. She says, I'm enjoying your money. Look at my bag. Y'all, this is a lot of pressure. So they go back into the room where Wendy is showing off construction. She said, is this the chandelier that I picked out? It looks tiny, y'all. Wendy, you got to pay attention to the side, baby. The size, and you have a huge high ceilings. It's looking kind of little. So they have the project manager is there on site. She's saying, did I pick that? The mother said, get two. The project manager, Rhonda, says it has to be within the budget. Mama Susan said, Wendy got the budget. And the sister said, Wendy got the budget. Y'all, Dr. Wendy, we can't tell you what to do, but I think that your attorneys need to screen this season, and some of this stuff need to be taken out, okay? This is terrible. I wonder if Wendy's dad want nothing to do with the girls based on the tribal issues that NECA brought up about their mom, Cece. I think Wendy mentioned last week, and it's the first we heard about it, that they split up something about, she said religious issues. Now, I know NECA's husband said it's taboo. We don't talk about it. But it's got something to do with that, I think. Sharon agreed that Wendy is having a good season. Yeah, I think so. This is her best season, y'all. I hate that this off-screen stuff is kind of bleeding into that. So Cece is making a good point. I believe that's what it is. Kiwan JTV. Somebody tell Susan her kids don't owe her money. I know, Kiwan J. I feel the same. It's a blessing when you can do for your parents, but they should never feel that they're obligated to the point where maybe something else could be going on. And I think that's what's going on with Wendy and Eddie. We know Happy Eddies don't tell Wendy no. So now Wendy has these feelings of inadequacy. Girl, you got 4 degrees. Beautiful. Her husband loves her. These 3 gorgeous kids. Any great job that she wants. She's on TV. I just can't understand feeling inadequate to some old man that don't want to see you and you in Nigeria a whole month. I don't know the daddy and I'm mad at him. So we get Ashley and Kay. They are going to meet Stacy and Monique for lunch. Here's another statement about the scene. Wendy's mother's terrible. She only cares about money. I can't stand her. All tweaked up too. And you see how much bleaching she's done since season 1. She's gotten on my nerves. And if she's any part of this pressure on Dr. Wendy, she should be ashamed of herself. And I feel like she is. For somebody like Wendy. Now, Wendy used to allude to it. Like, I'm a professor, but I'd like to do something else. But my mom will be upset about it. And Dr. Wendy's deep in her 30s. I think she just had her 40th birthday last year, maybe. So I feel really bad that she feels kind of pressure from Mama Susan. So we got Ashley, Kierna, Stacy, Monique. They meet. Ashley is saying, well, I'm calling this girl Ashley. Ashley is saying, I want Monique. I don't know if Monique is going to clock Stacy and check her or whatever. I can't stand the way that Ashley and Gizelle as well, always trying to weaponize somebody against people they perceive as opposition or an enemy. Fight your own battles, Ashley. And Stacy haven't done anything to you. Bobblehead. She makes me sick. So we get a confessional with Kay saying, she don't know how Monique's going to take like whatever is going on. Monique shows up looking beautiful in a black, flirty, short dress. She's positive. She's smiling. She smells good because they were like, ooh, what you got on? It's my essential oils. Y'all know she had that essential oil business that she was sinking all that money into. And Kay says, well, if it's going to calm me down, put some on me. I'll take it. Girl, why are you so hyped? I think all that stress is over there coming from Greg. So Kay doesn't even know Monique, but she starts this story. She said, you were a topic of discussion. She starts talking about how information went back from the table that they had to Chris Samuel. Cece says, my kids bought me an expensive bag and I asked them not to do that. They could afford it, but I'd rather they pay into their 401k, buy stocks with that kind of money. I just wanted a KitchenAid. And then you're giggling. And it's a blessing that they could do that for you, CC. That's something that's important to them. Like, I want to flex on my mom and get her this bag. But it's not anything you put pressure on them, like, oh, Mama Susan, to do. Or they might do something illegal, allegedly, to get it. So, y'all, that's terrible. Cece says, parents who want their kids to float them, no matter the circumstance, is wrong. Wendy and Eddie should have been putting mom's allowance in the college fund for their kids. I agree to that, too. I agree, because, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Again, I mean, we have to let the process pay out, but heaven forbid the money doesn't keep rolling in like it used to. Happy Eddie is still working on his business. He's still doing his events. Wendy, we saw them pause her on wife swap, and then they let it air. So I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with her for season 11. And it all has to play through the courts and those legal fees. And I hold Mama Susan responsible, and the absent daddy over there trying to get more kids. I wonder why Mama Susan said 200. Y'all, that was kind of specific. Yuck. So Kay's talking to Monique about her being a topic of discussion and somebody calling Chris. So Monique brought up, well, when Tia was asking the straw that brought the camera back, and that story that she told, she feels vulnerable. She feels able to relate to them. I don't know. I think Monique is very aware of the cameras, and I think she's trying to change her image back. That's what I see. Shout out to you and your kids, Miss Cece, Kiwan JTV. I know that's right. That is a blessing when your kids can do that and they don't hurt to do that. So she tells Monique, Cookie told us that Stacy called Chris. Ashley is parroting what Kierna is saying. Now, we don't know any of this to be true. They're just accusing Stacy, who has said she didn't do it. And now we've heard from who? Chris Samuels, who said, no, she didn't call me. So Ashley, you're lying. She's saying, oh, Monique, you are vulnerable. And it's for her to violate your trust. You hear these trigger words that Ashley is using to try to get Monique upset. So Monique is correct. She says, well, I want y'all to remember, this story is being put out by people that are possibly twisting the truth. Chris, she said, y'all don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes with him. They have some type of issues, co-parenting. So y'all, here I am thinking Chris is this big teddy bear, and Chris Samuels might be a trip, especially since I feel like Monique is the one that initiated the divorce, especially when we saw what their image fell to by the time they got to Love and Marriage DC. Monique was really upset about that, the fact that she was exposed and that people were blaming her and kind of coddling Chris. And I do still like Chris Samuels, y'all. But Monique says he can be a trip. And two things can be true. So she says the three people twisting the truth, also Stacy, and possibly, she said, lying ass Cookie. Y'all, I think Cookie is a lot. Sunshine and Flowers, hello, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me during the live. I appreciate it. Thank you. Cece's welcoming you in as well. Misha IMO sent me oh, thank you so much, Sunshine and Flowers. That is my girl. That's one of my favorite content creators. I appreciate that. Thank you. Misha IMO, she is a wonderful creator and hilarious as well. And also reviews this show as well. So we have Ashley trying to stir up trouble with Monique. Monique, y'all, I'm so surprised that Monique is still being kind of even keeled. And she's calling out Chris. Chris can make mischief, which I didn't know. I thought Chris was an innocent. We have Stacy, who we do know lies, but she has no reason to lie on or about Monique. And then she said, lying ass Cookie. And I think they're leaving out a person. Sharon, heads up. I think they're leaving out Sharice, y'all. I think Sharice will make a mess like that too. And she has Chris's number. Chris picks up for her. And I feel like if Cookie told her that, or Gizelle talks to Sharice also. Somehow this got back to Chris. He's saying it's not Stacy. So Monique's saying co-parents already a nightmare. Adding this to the mix is bad. Cookie, you causing a lot of problems. So Wendy arrives and says Stacy is adamant that she didn't call Chris. So Chris has already confirmed this, but most of the group doesn't believe him. And then we saw Sharice try to shape the conversation, y'all. This was a mess. Oh, CC is saying, I knew Chris could be messy when his mom called Monique a heifer and he didn't say anything. That's right, CC. How could I forget that? She said, I told that heifer. And Chris is like, like, yeah, you did, mama. Get him, mama. But he would support her like in front of our face. Sharon's laughing. I know that's about Sharice. Sharon tries to protect Sharice. Sunshine and Flowers is speaking back to the moderator who greeted her. Thank you. So Wendy is saying, now Stacy is saying that she doesn't feel comfortable with Kay being here and Ashley. So Ashley's sitting there looking crazy. And then Kay starts cursing. I have zero interest in a fake ass fraud. Y'all, can I tell you again how shocked I am by Kieran's attitude? She was not like this as friend of. She was more like a Jazzy. She was so fun and pretty and sweet, and you love to see her coming. Y'all, this is just a mess. And then I'm put my angel under her as a kind of a, she's supposed to be mentoring Angel, and both of them are blind. This is terrible. It's sad. So Kay's sitting at a table with bobblehead Ashley, and Ashley is the one, honestly, this is the only person she should have any kind of beef with. Kierna, when you take your makeup off and your permanent scar is there, think about Ashley. That's the only person you should have a problem with. Both of y'all are batty as heck. Every time I think about it, I can't function. So Stacy walks in. Hi. Monique stands up and hugs her because Stacy's a little awkward. She said, Monique literally said, I come in peace. Because, you know, Monique's a street fighter as well when it suits her. So Wendy is describing the conditions. Stacy says she'll meet, but she's not comfortable with Kay or Ashley. And then Kay says, this don't got ish to do with me. She goes to the bar. Kay, why are you so mad? Luckily, she just got champagne. So she does a whole confessional. It don't got ish to do with her, but she's the main one yelling and upset. So Monique is saying that pride, I was being vulnerable. I didn't know that you were still in communication with my ex-husband. I don't really fool with people that are in communication with my ex-husband. So Stacy's listening. She's saying, I'm not in communication with Chris. Her daughter and her had a magazine cover, a local DC magazine, and she pulls out her phone to show Monique. He responded to it. So I'm not sure if this was DMs or what it was. Sunshine and Flowers, we're still trying to figure out, why is Kay so mad? Did something happen behind the scenes with her and Stacy? I don't know. Because they came on together. This is both their sophomore season. You don't have to be friends, but I'd have solidarity a little bit with someone that started when I started. I don't understand that. And Gizelle's just under the radar, lying on everybody, lying on the kids, lying on their husband. Now Stacy's not safe to be around children. And you're the only one that lied on a baby. I don't know. So Cece is saying, Kenna is really showing the Baltimore in her. I hate to say that, Cece, but I forgot to mention when they were having that argument, she called Stacy a guard tool from Detroit. You are old guard tool from Detroit, and I know one when I see one. And I'm like, oh, well, how do you know one when you see one unless you're one too? Except from Baltimore, not Detroit. So Kiana, she's got a mean streak in her, and she's using it on Stacy. So then we get, she was showing her receipts saying that Chris had responded to the magazine article. Oh, that's beautiful. Stacy didn't respond, or at least she didn't show her response. And then Chris says, no, I think she didn't respond because the next thing he said was, the response to that should be, thank you, Chris, you have no game. You just got money and an NFL former career. The answer to that should be thank you. Stacy still doesn't respond. And he says, well, let's get together sometime. And Monique's like, okay, I don't really care about that. You acting like you care, Monique, because y'all got this lady out here with her phone showing you all this information. So then confessional Ashley says, this is fake receipts. Ashley, shut up. Mind your business. This is the second biggest liar in the group. Gizelle's the first. And she says, it's really easy to show one part of the text and then make another part up and take your part out that you put in there. So basically, she's telling us how she do when she's out here lying. Ashley is a trip, y'all. So confessional Monique says, well, people like that can't keep the lie up. Monique is looking beautiful in this professional. It's the Asian-inspired dress with her hair looped up. And she says, people like her won't be able to keep the lie up. And then she says something that cracks her own self up. She said, yeah, I'm not buying this new essential oiled, mellow yellow Monique. I think Monique still got a little bit of tick, tick, boom in her. I just don't want her to activate it on Stacy. So far, I'm pleased with what she's doing, but I don't know. This is a mess. And then Ashley interjects, but you had his number. Ashley, didn't Stacey tell you that she didn't even want you sitting here during this conversation? I'm tired of her. Ashley gets on my nerves so bad. Sharon, I feel the same. She's not showing anything. Even her scene with Sheila, I feel was kind of contrived. Because her mom's sitting there laughing. How you laughing over high blood pressure and bloody vomit? This is just disgusting. The whole family. And coming in the house barefoot. Ugh. So, this is the part where confessional Wendy said, I'll put my detective wig on. And then production is funny. They were doing a Dateline type sequence that she named each person. She said the number one suspect will be Kierna. They put a pretty picture of Kierna up with these little bows in her head. So this was a trip. Kay is the number one suspect. She said number two, Angel. They put up a picture of Angel. Angel sitting in. And she got some kind of bows in her head. Y'all, production, I don't think they like Angel. Angel, you still wearing my first season cloak of immunity. I'm not going to get you yet. I'll leave it to Sharon and Kiwan J. So Bobby is a suspect, y'all. Bobby is a suspect. She said Bobby knows Chris Samuels. Production shows us where Monique says, I know your husband, Bobby. So we find out that Bobby knows Chris Samuels. This could have been pillow talk because we know Angel tells Bobby everything, and Bobby could have brought it back to Chris. So we don't know. So also Gizelle. Gizelle has been cozy with Cookie since Karen went to jail. That's my number one suspect. Gizelle, or Gizelle has weaponized Kierna, who is so desperate to fit in, or Sharice, who could try to get back on the show. We don't know. So we can't rule out any of them. And then Wendy says, and even Stacey is a suspect because she has lied in the past, the present, and will probably lie in the future. And Wendy is the closest to her on the show, y'all, but this is what she said. Wendy said, whoever did it can run, but they can't hide. So she left out everybody but Sharice. Ashley is aggravating. Sunshine and Flowers agrees. She is. Kiwan J. I think we're all thinking Ashley can go. Yes, I hope Bravo thinks that because she's not showing anything. And what she does show, we don't really care. So Ashley checks on Kay at the bar and says, Kay says, I'm not doing this. Well, then why are you there, Kay? Go ahead and go home. And everything she says now, she just snaps. I think Greg has her on edge. So Stacey tells Monique, she said, I'd like a relationship with you. Monique says, I don't know who to believe. Stacey said, I don't want to be involved in your family. And I believe that. I mean, Stacey had kind of a messy situation. She's divorced from Tiara, but they're dating again. The whole TJ rumors, if she was paying him. We knew they were never really dating. That man didn't even come across as a real boyfriend. Cece says, I think Bravo and Andy will Ashley, since she's so much chatter online is about hating her. Any publicity is good publicity to them. Do you think her being a villain can save her job? Gizelle's the main villain, but I think you might be right. She's the second one. Andy doesn't like Robin, even though she's part of the Green Eyed Bandits, and they have a little motion with their podcast that they do over there. Yeah, I figured, yeah, we'll keep Ashley. Yeah, because there are not a lot of villains. Gizelle's the main one. Ashley is one, but she does drive communication amongst the fans about her. Even if we're talking about, please get her big head out of here, lying on people. So Stacey's saying she don't want to be involved in her family. And Monique is saying she gives Stacey a warning. Well, be careful in the future because I know Chris is messy. I divorced him for a reason. Now, Monique, you're going to keep talking about Chris and he's going to start talking about you. Chris has not said anything negative about Monique. Last week we had Kierna screaming, you said he had bad sex. And then something else Monique supposedly said. I didn't hear her say that. Piece of meat. I did hear her say he made her feel like a piece of meat. So I don't know. Maybe that's what Kierna's coming up with. So Monique, I don't know. What's she going to do? Because Monique, we know that she will get physical. I like to think she's zen and all this, but I don't know. We'll see. And again, Gizelle's the one who lied on your baby. And you thinking about talking to her again. So we'll see what happens with this. We saw Angel. This is going to be upcoming previews. That basically was the end of the episode. This long lunch that they had with ending up with Kierna and Ashley at the bar because Stacey doesn't want to be around them. And then we get a confessional with Kierna talking about Stacey had the nerve to say she don't want to be around me and she's the most dangerous bee over here. What is dangerous about Stacey? If this lady tells a lie about maybe she's Nigerian, maybe this is her boyfriend, Maybe she's divorced from her husband. Maybe they're going together. How does that hurt anybody, like lying on who a baby's father is between a married couple, or lying that someone's husband is trying to make you a sneaky link and it cost the man his job and caused people to question him? I don't know. I don't get it. But upcoming preview, Stacy and Tia is gonna argue again. And Stacy tries to put Tia out. Y'all, they showed this clip at BravoCon and it was so funny. Stacy's towering over Tia talking about, well, go ahead and leave. Toodle-doo. And Tia gets up to leave. Angel's gonna host a trip to Colorado. Of course, the ladies are gonna do a lot of complaining. We'll see Gizelle spread rumors about Angel being evicted. Gizelle, I think you're lying. If this lady's lease is up, why are you telling people she got evicted? The ladies are going to attack Stacy again. And Stacy is saying, what kind of women are these? Cece says, Stacy makes me chuckle. For now. I agree, Cece. I mean, she got to have more of a storyline than all this lying. All of them lie, but here's what Sunshine and Flowers said. Stacy is about as dangerous as the Easter Bunny. Exactly. Her lies are just, it's funny. You said that I'm Nigerian. It's a 1, 2, 3 of me. It says that I'm going to name my company Sheyo, a Nigerian name, and not be able to pronounce it. I don't see how that hurts anybody. Cece's laughing at that. So then next, y'all, she's coming. Andy meets with the Grand Dame, and she says, I'm ready to talk about my addiction. So y'all tell me what you think about this. Do you think that Karen, I heard that Karen and Stacy fell out. I don't know about what, other than Stacy being kind of the popular one in only her sophomore season. So could Karen behind the scenes be manipulating Cookie to kind of lash out at Stacy? Who else is coming for her? Kierna. Because the Grand Dame, her hands are clean, y'all. And we know she's smart enough to keep her hands off of something like this. Because I don't know, it's a delicate balance of where you kind of feud with somebody a little bit. I could see Gizelle and Stacy going at it, and that would be fun. But kind of the way she's ganging up against Stacy and having all the other women be a part of it, with the exception of Wendy and Jossie, I don't really like. And I think it makes a lot of the fans uncomfortable. We never like when they start doing that. And then Ashley using language like, and for her to betray your trust, and we don't know if Monique is going to clock her and then handle it. So they might be trying to get Monique activated again, y'all. I still think she got a little bit of that in her. I don't think the essential oils can do all that for you. Stacy is so unbothered, which really makes them mad. Yeah, she has a really funny way of fighting. When she was like, oh, you're in a 0, now you're on a 2. Good to see you, boo. The little things that she does. And then Wendy just cracked up. That was really hilarious. Cece says, I can see Karen trying to dampen Stacy's shine behind the scene. Yeah. I think she has a sense of confidence, but Karen can be a little insecure too. Because some of the things that Gizelle would dig her about, you could tell it really got to Karen. Like when we first met her and Ray, she's the Queen of Potomac and he's the Black Bill Gates. And then we find out, well, no, Charisse is the one that really knew everybody and put things in place. And she was kind of supporting Ray by the time she got on this show. And then Gizelle wore that tax t-shirt when she had those tax problems. So I don't know. We'll see, y'all. Again, this was a really good episode. I'm going to give it an 8. I have to deduct a couple of points for Ashley Darby getting under my skin and really bothering me. But y'all, Cece, you have a really good point about she does get negative engagement, but it's still engagement, and Bravo likes that. So when we get under comments and we're ranting about Ashley and the creators are still talking about her, I guess they feel like any attention is good attention. But this was a pretty good episode. What did y'all think about it? I gave it an 8. It wasn't a 10. I'm sure we have some 10s coming up because we got Karen coming back. We got Angel and Kierna, who are still a disaster, but I think they'll still keep going at Stacy, trying to get in Gizelle's good graces. But this was pretty good. A lot of talking, which I don't mind. I don't want to see them fighting. Poor Cookie. I don't mind making fun of Cookie. Cece gave it a 7. Okay, yeah, it was average. I'll give it a little bit above average, but it was good. I don't know. I guess we'll see Cookie again. They annoyed me, but it was good. Yeah, Kiwan J says it was good. I agree. So everybody, thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra for this live review. Another 7 from Mama Bees. Okay, so that's kind of a consensus then. It's average, but we get Grand Dame coming back. Karen Huger will be back. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Bye, everybody. Thank you.